You're listening to Athleisure Kitchen, where you'll get the inside scoop with those in the culinary world, from celebrity chefs, food personalities, restaurateurs, and more. I'm your host, Kimmy Smith of Athleisure Mag, so set an extra plate as we chat all things culinary. We've been a fan of Chef Marcus Samuelsson for over a decade, starting with enjoying his deviled eggs at Red Rooster in Harlem. We've enjoyed seeing him on Food Network when he's judging Chopped, or seeing him on Bravo's Top Chef. Whether he's releasing a cookbook or opening additional restaurants, we know that Marcus is always creating innovative dishes that are focused on phenomenal taste, dynamic flavors, and comfort foods that we need. In today's episode of Athleisure Kitchen, Marcus cooks us a meal that we should make for date night, talks about his formula and opening, as well as finding the perfect locations for his restaurants, and the importance of Harlem Eat Up, his food festival that highlights his city, chefs, and music of the neighborhood. So we are so excited to have you on Athleisure Mag and Athleisure Kitchen. Our readers have loved you for a long time.
Thank you.
Chef, we know Valentine's Day is coming up, and just for date night meals in general, what should we be making so that we can always stun our significant other?
Well, cool. I'm excited that you guys came today. For me, first of all, I feel very fortunate that I've been lucky enough to partner with Pure Leaf, right? Pure Leaf's always looking for great flavors and are always looking for unique flavors that are super delicious. And I think with this collection, Pure Leaf has found something really interesting and beautiful. Hibiscus, being African, you find hibiscus all over Africa and in the Caribbean, sometimes known as sorrel. So it's a beautiful flower, right? But also has that beautiful floral notes that is now becoming a big, big trend in restaurant. And what would be more fun than be able to bring some of that trend-setting food back home, right? Whether it's through a cocktail or through a simple appetizer. And we're going to do both.
Oh, exciting.
So the collection has all hibiscus. They're caffeine-free. They're herbally brewed, but also all around hibiscus. And then you have a mango, a peach, and a cherry. And I poured some of the mango-flavored hibiscus iced tea in here with a little bit of gin. You can do it as a mocktail with no alcohol.
Oh, perfect.
And then a little bit of orange bitters, some citrus juice. We're just going to give that a shake, right?
Nice.
Right, put a little ice, and you just give that a light shake like that. And shake up the cocktail. And then we call this cocktail Valentine. We just have fun play of words, right? But it has this beautiful rosé, beautiful color. Look at that, how light and bright that looks. And then we're just gonna put that sprig of thyme in, right? Just a little bit of thyme to add to the floral note, right?
Oh, I love that.
And that's gonna be for you.
Oh, thank you.
Just
that's
enjoy
very nice.
that.
Thank you. I'll just sip this quietly.
Yeah, sip that, absolutely. And over here, making a great dish, a light, bright, flavorful dish, can be simple. I'm going to start with some greens. I have a little bit of baby arugula, a little bit of frisee. I'm searing my scallops. I'm searing just 3 minutes on each side so they're nice and golden brown, right? And in the pan, this is a cast iron skillet.
Okay.
I have a little bit of olive oil, but I'm also adding in parsley. I'm adding in thyme so those herbal notes comes back out again. And I told you before that Pure Leaf has this beautiful collection with hibiscus, and this one is hibiscus cherry flavored, right? So just look at that color. It's gorgeous, it's burgundy, it's light, and it's all the flavors that you want. We also took some sour-dried cherries and just soaked them overnight in the iced tea, which makes them really nice and loose in terms of texture. And texture, this dish is based all around texture, right?
Exactly.
We have a scallop. Look at those scallops. They're perfectly golden brown, right? And when you get scallops like this, you want to have dry scallops. You want to ask for sushi quality grade A.
I was just going to ask you that.
Yes. You want, always when you buy seafood, you want to ask for sushi quality grade A.
Okay.
If you do that, you're going to get the best seafood.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And then also buy seafood from the same person, because then you're building a relationship.
Absolutely.
And you make sure they go in the back and get the good stuff for you. I'm just going to garnish it with a little bit of parsley and some nuts. You don't have to have nuts if someone has allergies, but just for crunch, I find it delicious. And then we're just going to use some of that parsley that we seared up and just top off the dish with some of those fresh herbs, right?
That's so beautiful.
Yes.
And not that quick, or not that hard to make in terms of
No.
like the time. It's a very quick dish.
And that's the key, right? That,
Wow.
we wanted to create a recipe that was flavor forward.
Thank you very
but
much.
also was easy to make. So jump in.
This is beautiful, and I love scallops. It's one of my favorite
scallops
things.
And just that idea with the hibiscus, a cherry iced tea as a flavor component here. It's light and it's bright. It's a beautiful appetizer.
It is so
Easy to
good.
make. You know what? And today I'm serving for free. When you come to Red Rooster, I have to charge you. This is much better.
Yes, it
yeah,
is.
absolutely.
Well, Chef,
enjoy it.
When did you realize that you wanted to be a chef?
Oh, I've cooked all my life. My grandmother, I grew up in Sweden with my grandmother, and she was a cook.
Right.
And just to be here, 30 years later, to be able to do a craft that I was taught in her kitchen, it's unbelievable to me. It's not a job. It's something that I'm extremely passionate about, and I feel privileged to work with my passion and be able to today work in communities and create jobs and work with a lot of inner city kids, whether it's through TCAP or whether it's through our restaurant, or whether it's through our festival, Harlem Meetup. And with that, you need partners like Pure Leaf that sees those opportunities and help me create that. So, yeah.
I love that. And how do you go about deciding, because you have so many restaurants, what the next restaurant's going to be and where it's going to be at? Yeah.
Well, those are tough questions for me. And I love to, first of all, the city's got to speak to me, right? So, I love, of course, New York, but not only the city, the part of town. We just opened in Newark, a beautiful town that has a strong African-American narrative in terms of culture and music and jazz and so on. So that was a place where we felt it was important to contribute a job and hire locally.
Exactly.
So we always look at the city. We opened Red Rooster in London, which, it's always been, growing up in Europe, London is your first New York. So to be able to be there, it's been a pleasure as well. So, but again, it's a privilege to be able to do what I love and do it in several cities. And Harlem will always be home, and we're soon coming up on our festival, and that's something I look forward to.
What do you like being a co-producer of the Harlem Eat Up? How did that come about, and why is that so important? Because of the intersectionality.
Well, I was always a guest to all these great food festivals, whether it was Miami or South Beach or whether it was Aspen or New York. And I was like, wait a minute, Harlem is such an incredible rich community in terms of culture, history, and the chefs there deserves also to be able to tell their stories. And the food festival has been able to tell that stories. And with that, to do it, because half of Harlem Eat Up is for free.
Right.
And we can't do it without sponsors. To have sponsors like Pure Leaves, be able to, whether it's to help us set the table for Valentine's Day, or whether it's to help to set the table for a food festival, I really appreciate that.
I love that.
And also for your viewers and readers, if you want more recipes, you can go to pureleaf.com. Find, so you can make Valentine's Day a fun, easy, romantic date night. Yeah.
So Red Rooster, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
What are 3 signature dishes that we need to eat from there?
Oh,
you can only choose 3 now.
Yeah, when you come to the Rooster, you have to have. I think a fun way to start is always with a cornbread and some deviled eggs. It's comfort food. It's easy. You can have a drink. You should definitely have a cocktail. Sit in the bar and maybe start off with a brown stone or a bourbon forward drink. And then I love if, for example, the shrimp and grits are super, super delicious. It's something that is so comforting, and you got to have the Yardbird.
This is true. And our last question is, we know that the Sobe Festival is coming up. Why do you love participating in that and just attending as well? And how important is that?
Well, I mean, Sobe is one of the festivals that really started the great festivals, right? You have Aspen, you have South Beach, and as a chef, it's such a privilege. But also to be able to see your chef friends. I'm going to be able to hang out with, Bobby and Alex and my friend Scott. People that, we work together, but we don't really have time to hang out. And that's the time when we get together. And also, I go over to Overtown and other parts of town and be able to do cooking demos. And this year, actually, I make sure that my events are always in Overtown, so I can be able to bring that South Beach audience over to another part of town that they may or may not have been to before.
Exactly. Wow. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and making this incredible meal, which our readers are going to love.
So you're good. You got your.
I got my cocktail.
You got your Valentine.
Yes.
And you got your scallops, which is beautiful. So I hope you're going to enjoy it.
Oh, I will enjoy it.
Absolutely.
And it was just an honor because I've enjoyed eating at your restaurant. So having you cook it right here is fantastic.
Good. Enjoy your Valentine's
Thank you so much. You too, Marcus. We can't wait to sit with you again every 2 weeks to share another great story with you at Athleisure Kitchen. Athleisure Kitchen is a part of Athleisure Studio, our multimedia podcast network, which is a division of Athleisure Media and whose sister site is Athleisure Mag. Get the latest episode by enjoying us on your favorite podcast platform and by checking out the show notes for additional content. You can stay in the loop on who future guests are by visiting us at athleisurestudio.com/Athleisure Kitchen and on Instagram at Athleisure Kitchen and at Athleisure Studio. I'm your host, Kimmy Smith. Athleisure Kitchen is executive produced by Paul Farkas and myself, and is mixed by the team at Athleisure Studio and is available on your preferred podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and wherever you enjoy listening. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks, so make sure that you set an extra plate for us.